Australian Open final, French Open final, Wimbledon final, US Open final, Nitto ATP finals finalist. Jannik Sinner's 2025 was actually one of the most incredible seasons any player's ever had, and it was for a lot of different reasons than what you may think. Despite being banned for many months, he also came back and pretty much lit the ATP tour on light. And in my opinion, I think he is the best player in the world, and he is definitely the most consistent player in the world. I know the rankings won't agree for 2025, but due to the fact for him being banned, I think this had a huge impact on him. I'll explain everything in detail, but let me get into this. When you're the best player in the world and nobody cares, this is the story of Jannik Sinner's 2025. As mentioned before, Jannik Sinner went to the Australian Open in 2025. And he came and pretty much blitzed the whole competition. The way he was playing tennis was just ridiculous. And he ended up notching up another Australian Open and a back-to-back titles. Moving on to the French Open, which was really interesting because that was after his ban, which we'll go into more detail. He was 1 point away from winning it, and that would have changed every single thing about his year. Obviously, Alcaraz got the job done in one of the most improbable and incredible finals you'll ever see. But he bounced back like a champion that he is and went forward to 2025 in Wimbledon and won that. He also went into the US Open final and made all 4 finals of the slams. He lost that to Alcaraz, and Alcaraz was just way better on the day. But coming back towards the end of the year, he won Paris and he won the Nitto ATP finals in straight sets. You can't tell me there's an argument for someone else being the best player in the world, unless there was someone like Carlos Alcaraz in your era who just absolutely set the world on light as well. He made the final of the French Open, Wimbledon, US Open, and the Nitto ATP finals. But there's something to be said about consistency and why consistency matters when you're talking about the best players in the world. From serve speed, return percentage, point percentage, best pressure point percentage, Sinner led the way in 2025, and it's one of the most underrated years of his career. And he will look back at it, and I think himself is going to look back at 2025 and say, what a year I actually did have. As mentioned, after the Australian Open where he won, he was banned for 3 months, and he was not allowed to compete in 3 months, and he missed tournaments such as Indian Wells and Miami, and this kind of was a bit of a dark cloud over his 2025 year. But as mentioned as well, he bounced back like a true champion and played in Rome where he made a final and lost to Alcaraz, and made the final in Roland Garros and continued to just make finals and win tournaments. But that ban was really important, and I think was really interesting about this 2025. What made it so interesting, and this is my opinion, I think when it comes to the race to the world number 1, if that ban didn't occur, Alcaraz does not get the world number 1 spot, and that's almost factual. It went down to the wire, and it went down to Nitto ATP finals, and it went down really close. And the reason it went really close is because Sinner was way more consistent than Alcaraz throughout the matches that he played, and he caught up on the points because Alcaraz lost matches where he shouldn't have. And this is a sign of why he is the best player in the world. I think there's a difference between the best player in the world and the most clutch player. I think Alcaraz is the most clutch player in tennis, and I think there's no arguing with that. Only the Roland Garros 2025 will pretty much be your prime example of that. When it comes to the head-to-head with Sinner and Alcaraz as well, I think Alcaraz dominates in the bigger matches. The issue that Alcaraz does have at the moment is against the smaller matches where matches of which are supposed to be so comfortable, he overanalyzes, and I think he can just over and not get himself up for some of these matches, whereas Sinner is just a robot and a machine and will dispatch any opponent in front of him. Hence why I do truly believe Jannik Sinner is the best player in the world. But nobody seems to take any notice about this, and nobody seems to be saying this because I don't think anyone really cares at the moment. I think Alcaraz is probably the most poster boy for tennis. I don't think Sinner is that guy, unless you're an Italian or unless you're a big Sinner fan. He's not going to be that guy that a lot of people really care about in the sense of being the best player in the world. Whereas Alcaraz is definitely a much more marketable figure, and a figure that a lot more people look at to see, and they want to be the one on one, and they want him to be the face of tennis. I think the dark cloud of Sinner's career, which happened in the latter 3 months after the Australian Open, that left a sour taste to a lot of tennis fans, and I think that caused a lot of people to kind of downplay this 2025. But that's not what I'm doing here. I'm definitely saying how important this is, and I definitely do believe he is the best player in the world. And in terms of the game that he has, it is one of the most consistent, clean, flawless games you can see on the tennis court anywhere. And we should generally appreciate the 2 players we've got. But my question to a lot of you guys is, why don't people care that he is the best player in the world and he is the most consistent player in the world? At the end of the day, slams matter. Alcaraz has more slams, but when it comes to these type of matches, I just think Sinner's the best player in the world when it comes to 1,000 events, 500s, 250s. I think when it comes to slams, Alcaraz just levels. He just raises levels and he just raises it to the big occasion. But let me know your thoughts about this, because this is a quite interesting one that I've been thinking about. As always, leave it in the comments. But yeah, leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you again next time. Peace.